Phineas.
Hello, Santa. How are you today?
Oh my gosh. You know, I'm sitting in front of the fireplace. Well, not,
Uh-huh.
but it's not warm. Right over here is an air conditioner. There's a
Mm-hmm.
fireplace right there. What does that tell you?
You're going to have a rain cloud in the middle at some point. So,
I Yeah, it's going to be like heat, moisture, heat, moisture. Well,
yeah.
welcome to Fireside Chat with me, your host Santa, and our wonderful host Phineas. How are you? How's your day?
Do I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a busy weekend, lots of time in motion here, but it's all good. I am sitting down, getting a chance to talk with Santa, enjoy a nice cool beverage while Santa sits by the fireplace. So it's a and the air conditioning, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's been awesome. Well, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a cherry sparkling water. So,
Ooh,
hmm
well, I'm doing a little melted snowman. It's not
okay.
a real snow. It was a pretend snowman, but
hmm
it's fine. It was very refreshing.
Yep.
It's still kind of melted though. All snowmen kind of melt in 94
Yeah.
degrees or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence I have a T-shirt we're going to talk about today. Don't stop
Don't
believing it.
stop
I know.
believing.
Yeah.
Hold on to your dreaming.
We won't sing anymore because we could get flagged for copyright infringement.
We don't
But
want to get a copyright strike. No.
into our wonderful conversation today about belief. And I think too, it's just about, being someone who's believable. But before we get started, guess what? Today we have a milestone. This is episode number 25.
Woo. Oh,
20,
a quarter
25.
century. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? The silver? Is it silver? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
silver.
I think it's silver. I think it's silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Well,
get something out on the reindeer for you, Santa, to celebrate.
well,
So,
it's been a lovely, like as always, we mentioned, thank you. We appreciate you, the listener and the watcher, watch
hmm
on YouTube, because you get a little fun, obviously you got the whole like super cute hat with the glasses and the ears, and you know, there's nothing like elf ears. I should try
and
some elf.
there, and you've got the amazing hat and the majestic beard and all the jolliness. So it is just great. So, woo.
Like, so I don't have cats today because they'd be like jumping. Oh my gosh, that's just like, oh, I know. Well, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about. Have you ever noticed that children don't spend much time trying to decide if Santa is real? They decide something much more important. Can I trust this person?
I thought they were like going, is that a real beard or something?
Well, that too. Yes,
hmm
100%. A lot of it comes from trust. So, obviously we have a trust system as an adult, and there's
hmm
trust as children. And I think too, it's so funny. Do children remember every word you say when you get repeat, you know, when they're sitting beside you with photos? I mean, obviously you do some pretty large events and you see a lot of the same children every year.
hmm
Do they remember from years past, and do they bring that up with you when they see you again year over year?
They don't remember the words. They remember how I made them feel and how they felt.
Yeah.
They remember that big dumb elf that made them feel comfortable and ready to visit with Santa, or did something silly to make them laugh, or did something silly to make their big dumb mean big brother or sister laugh, or embarrass their big brother or sister. They're
Yeah.
more interested in the feeling than what we actually said or what we actually did. So,
Yeah. Can I tell you a secret?
mhm,
Adults are the same too.
mhm,
We do the same thing. A
yep,
lot of what our belief system is just how you made me feel and how comfortable you made me feel. Now, I know we've talked with Santa Kevin and Santa Michael, but I think too, it even talks about meeting people where they're at and building that
mhm.
trust because, sometimes I have to say, there's sometimes, Phineas, we don't get the picture. And I know that a lot of people that maybe think, wait a minute, you're there for the photo. And
Mhm.
well, sometimes the trust isn't there yet. We're still
Yep.
working out that stuff. And I think too, having an experience, I can say, I know children are not afraid of you, Phineas, but they can be a little intimidated by me because I'm this big red suited guy and I, look like the photo. I mean, I sort of look like this is a great hair day, by the way.
Yeah.
But yes, for our listeners, I have a T-shirt on that says "Don't Stop Believing," and
Okay.
I was having a really good hair day. It's kind of a yeah, beard looks good too,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's my T-shirt I'm pointing at. Sorry. But a lot of times, yeah. Have you had shy
Well,
children that didn't maybe trust
well,
Phineas right off the bat?
lots of shy children that don't trust Phineas, and there are plenty of shy children and adults who are uncomfortable with Santa because when they see Santa, they see him in the books and on TV. And what happens when you're in a book or on TV and you see pictures of Santa in a book? They're small, they're little, and and when he's there, big as life, and with the
Yeah,
red suit and the belt and the beard and everything, it can be a lot. And usually in an environment that isn't really comfortable to the visitor because they could be at a mall, they could be at a public event where there's lots and lots of people watching. So it can be a lot for the children because, this thing that they've seen in a book and it's very little, and then all of a sudden here he is, big as life, so 6 foot and change,
yeah.
and all this red velvet and white fur and beard and belt and bells, and ooh, it could be overwhelming. So yeah.
I find it magical when how relaxed the children get, and they start to trust me as this because it's intimidating. I simply listen, and a lot of it is I think we may have touched on this at a previous episode, but I often ask them a question because sometimes the the parents are like, "Tell him what
Mhm,
you want, and tell Phineas what you want." Oh
mhm,
my gosh, look at his ears. He's got bells on, and they're trying to find a something that the child can connect with so
mhm.
they can start their wonder, right?
Yep.
But it's amazing. I will say I've had a little boy come to see me at a local wonderful event I do at a bakery.
Mhm.
That's the puppies playing with their toy, by the way. They got a little Christmas toy early.
Ooh.
I know. But I'm and every year he gets a little closer to me. And it's quite wonderful because the parents are overjoyed that they get to have this wonderful experience with their child because they want to live that stuff that they did when they were little. Maybe
Mhm,
they don't remember they didn't quite trust Santa right off the bat. Maybe they were like, "Well, I don't know what's going on." But when you ask them some simple questions and put the child at ease, then they
yep,
start to open up and they start to become who they are and
mhm.
start asking questions. What's a funny question that you got asked? I know you've had lots of questions. Is there a silly one or a fun one that you can think of?
Uh, from a family or a child? And lots like, lots of stuff, particularly if there's a child being difficult or picky during the season, and it's like, "How have you ever not liked your dinner?" or something like that, and it's just like, that type of question, and sometimes, yeah, there are times when I just don't wanna eat my spinach and liver, and, but, I know I need to eat it, but because I need the iron, but at the same time, you know,
The spin it. Yeah. Well, yeah.
eh, yeah, liver and onions and spinach, but, it's usually just funny situations like, you said a couple of times how you had a visitor that, shall we say, had a blowout, in the diaper region, and sometimes it's not funny situations where I'm holding the child like this and passing it
Yeah.
back to mom and dad to
Yeah.
deal with the issue, and then they can come back afterwards, so.
I've had many children that I've held like small infants, maybe 2 weeks
Mhm,
old, and I can feel the diaper fill up.
mhm,
And but there's a lot of material between me and
and them.
them. So it's always funny because I'm like, well, I think there's something happening. And the parents are like, of course, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, listen,
Eh,
everything is biological at this age. 2 weeks old is a
mhm,
gift because
mm,
they they have to poop, and we all have to poop, and
mhm,
they want to poop when they want to. That's why they wear a diaper.
yep,
So it's totally. I I
yep,
often think parents are very apologetic when I work with the pet company that we had our wonderful friend Ed on recently, and the parents of the dogs are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry they didn't misbehave," and like, "No, no, we got the picture, we got the moment, we got the memory." So that's the key,
Mhm.
is being able to get to a point where we can kind of document this experience and then kind of move forward. But, no one told me in the beginning that I had to build trust in me quickly. I think you have to, like any if you're going out and shopping for a car, or if you're, buying something significant, you're dealing with a salesperson. It's like sort of the same thing. We're selling this character, you
Mhm.
and I. You're selling this wonderful elf who loves to chop wood, and he's a little bit bigger than the other elves because it's your story.
Mhm.
It's become who you are,
Yep.
right? I think too that kind of leads
Yep.
into, it isn't, we talk about this a lot. It isn't the suit. It isn't the pointy shoes. It is how you make them feel. Oh my gosh, I think they love the toy. They're
Yay!
barking. Can you hear them barking in the background, Phineas?
I can indeed, Santa. I can indeed.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
You know,
Yeah,
it's so
and
funny. Go ahead.
so you were talking about building trust, and you've got to do it quickly. And in many cases, yes, you have maybe all of about 90 seconds with which you got to build this trust with. And
Yeah.
how do you do that? And and it starts by meeting them at their level of energy where they're at energetically, and being genuinely you at the same time. So,
You'll hear a lot of seasoned performers talk about your story, your belief system. And it is, we've all kind of modeled. I'll say that, when I saw Miracle on 34th Street and I saw Edmund win for the first time,
mhm,
a lot of my character, and if you haven't seen it, Chef's Kiss,
mhm,
magic. And, you know, his he wore his suit differently. There was a lot of, his belt was super high, and he was funny, and he was goofy, and he was English, right? He had an
mhm,
accent. But as a child, and I saw him, I believed, because I
mhm,
trusted him, because who he was. It was his core. That's why actors can do these things, like Michelle Pfeiffer can be Catwoman, right? I was watching Batman the other day. I kind of like liking it. And he's Catwoman. Anne Hathaway did a good job, but she's Catwoman. So
mhm.
also did Halle Berry too. But your belief system, you believe you see this character. So I think too, you know, we've talked about when we take this when the suit goes in the closet, when the pointy shoes go in the closet, are we still this person inside? And you know what the answer is? Yes.
Mhm,
Because we act like that character. We act like Santa. We act like an elf who causes mischief and makes fun and plays
mhm.
songs. People feel good and smile. It's so funny, the kindness that we talk about, the generosity, and I think the right word I'm thinking of is just the feeling of making people feel seen and welcome. And that could be a lot of different people. It could be, you ever go to the grocery store and the clerk remembers your name,
Yep.
and how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I count and I matter. So,
It could be a teacher, it could be a nurse, a friend who checks in. None of them wear red suits or pointy shoes, but I
mhm.
guarantee they all create magic. Is there a person that kind of created your belief system when you were very young? When young Phineas took his first steps and thought, I'm going to make people smile. Was there someone that in your history and mentored you in the beginning that you gave you like, I believe in you?
I had a couple of near and dear people who helped me create what I do as a performer, and
Hmm.
basically also as a human being as well, because they became very good friends, and through how they emulated who they were as performers and as all around decent human beings, they help me become who I am as a human being as well. So, and both of them are named David. Go figure. And I am lucky enough to work with one regularly, and that is Santa David, the Santa that I work with.
Yeah.
I've known him for 35 years, and we work together now for nearly 10 years professionally. And then my other mentor is a performer, musician, and actor in North Carolina named David Bartlett. And again, he's shown me how to be the kind of person who is a genuine person that you want to work with, and
Yeah.
also be the kind of performer that people want to play with and be entertained by and welcomed into the lives of. So
I think you said something really profound. That he gave you the overview for someone that you can have people that you can play with, that you
mhm,
can interact with, but you can also have fun. I
mhm.
think that's the true if you had to pick a word, a couple words, let's say 2 words to describe Phineas, what words would you think?
Was going to say organized fun because I like to have fun, but at the same time, I've got a job to do to help Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
So stuff needs to get done. So people are ready for the visit and Santa is taken care of when he arrives.
I was gonna I was gonna use the word organized as well, but I was
Mhm.
gonna organize whimsy
Mhm.
because I think what I see about you is that you're always looking for the position, the juxtaposition, the next
Mhm.
this piece is gonna fit here, right?
Mhm.
Like this child is a little nervous, so we need to do this,
Mhm.
then we can do that, and then we can go here and here and here. I think just looking and thinking 3 or 4 paces ahead, I
Yep.
think that's where your seasoned, your experience with working with the Cirque du Soleil and obviously Disney and all the wonderful clowns, that you've encountered.
Mhm.
I made a funny, I know I tried. But you do these wonderful things where you've met these wonderful people and you go, I'm going to borrow that.
Mhm.
I'm going to take a little piece of that. When, I think of myself, our very dear friend, Mrs. Claus Vintage,
Mhm.
she used the word huggable. And that's me, whether I'm wearing red or I am not. I
Mhm.
think, and I take that very seriously because I had a wonderful mentor. He's gone now. He's been gone a long time. His name is Robert Woolmagoon. I met him when I was 22 years old and I was needing some guidance. And he was in my life for about 6.5 years, and then he passed from cancer. But what he showed me was my value and my value in giving to other people, and
Mhm.
not knowing that I had this character. At the time, had a red beard, just like the Rankin and Bass character. I had a very
Mhm.
red, and he gave me a lot of what I still do is in my belief system and who I am as a person and what I can offer. Because he said, "You are amazing." And this is like a 22-year-old. I'm a 22-year-old kid
Mhm.
from a small town in the Bay Area. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. But I know. But what he taught me was you have value and you're going to give to others because you have such a huge heart. And I was such a shy child and I was so quiet that I I stayed to myself instead of talking to others.
Mhm.
Now, as an adult, I have to say I put on this wonderful persona and get to be an extrovert, but I'm
Yep.
really an introvert.
Well,
And
I often call myself I'm a professional extrovert because I'm very much the same. I was very quiet as a child, and
yeah,
but at the same time, I play this larger than life being for you know 3 months in a row, and I get to work with a person who is a myth and another larger than life being. But yeah, I am typically an introvert. I like to stay at home. I like to read books. I like to listen to music, but at the same time, here I am.
and play music.
Mhm.
Wonderfully gifted musician. Was there a small act of kindness that stayed with you over the years? And that can be as Phineas or as our other personas.
Honestly, the first time that I realized I was doing good and that, this thing that I am doing has some merit to it is the first time one of my mentors, one of my teachers walked up and at the end of the time and I was tired and it was a rough day and everything.
Mhm.
And he whispered in my ear, I believe in you. And just hearing that from someone I respected and someone who I
Yeah,
wanted to do good for was like, he was like, you have created someone who is a full-fledged being
yeah.
and and someone I can believe in, and that was just enough for me. So,
So wonderful.
mhm,
I'll go back about 10 years. I've mentioned Ed several times, but
mhm,
he brought me into working with the Chamber of Commerce that does the tree lighting at Giddings Plaza. And I've mentioned it several
mhm,
times because it's truly magic.
mhm,
There's no other word to describe it. And I remember the first year we worked together, and I think about it and I get emotional, but he kept me in a van and we were parked. No, it was like, there was like hundreds of people. And I'm in the van and he goes, "Okay, Santa, here's your bells. You're going to jump out and you're going to make a big scene." And I'm like, "What?" And then we had not talked about this. And he goes, "And it's going to be amazing because I believe in you. And when they see you and you start talking, they're going to believe too because I know who you are, Tracy." Shh, shh, don't tell anybody. My name's Tracy. But and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to let Ed down." And I'm like, here I am, and just I'm bedecked. I am
mhm.
like giving it bells, everything, and so they slide the door open. I jump out of this van, and I'm like really big. Ho, 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 ho! Hello, and everybody just right in the heart
Yep.
makes the heart 10 times sizer, just like
Mhm,
my I didn't have a small heart like the Grinch, but that little part of I believe in you, Tracy. I believe in Santa Tracy. I
mhm.
believe in you. You can do this. You can bring the magic. And
Yep.
now and walking and the crowd parted like, you know, and I oh my gosh. Oh look at and the children are just like, and I get emotional thinking about it
Mhm.
because that's my legacy. That's what I get to live on by because somebody believed in me that could bring this
Yep.
magical character to life. And it's just, there's no words. So you were going to say something, what your thoughts were.
Well, it is, and you're going to live on through the memories
Yeah.
and the way you made people feel and the way you touched them. So,
Yeah.
and that's all any of us can ask for as a performer and portrayer of a Christmas character is just to live on through memories. As I say, live on through the photographs in the photo albums or on the living room walls.
Yeah. Gotta believe this is who you are when you're wearing this suit or you're putting the pointy shoes on or you, you pick a snowball fight at a conference with,
Mhm,
and you make people happy and they'll remember it. Photos,
mhm,
but you're gonna get a lot of conversations about. We talk about this a lot, but you got to think about how do I want to make people feel today? Listen to, acknowledge. Do you ever have a parent that got emotional because they couldn't get the picture, but they got the memory? Do you ever get a a parent that sort
mhm.
of cried?
They got the memory. They may not have gotten the photo that they wanted, but they
Yeah,
got the photo they needed or that needed to happen at that point. And, it may not be the picture perfect, they're all in their matching outfits and sitting perfectly with Santa, all
yeah,
smiling with their ting smiles, and beautiful white teeth, but, you know, they caught the family being real and interacting. And
yeah.
that's what I try to do is I am not there to sell photos. I am there to create memories.
This is such a good conversation.
Mhm,
I hope everybody. This is obviously brings us a lot of joy, but I hope you got something from this about
mhm,
being someone that people can believe in. And if you don't have a real beard, it's okay. You can grow one. You can stick one on.
mhm,
Or if you don't have pointy ears, you can stick them on too
mhm.
and get a really cute button nose. Yeah, look at that. I
Yeah.
even though it's not cold outside, but it does look like you're cold. But
I got a bit of sun today. We'll just leave it at that. So
I was
forgot to
outside.
put on the SPF.
Well, our last segment, I'd love to share a question from the mailbox if it's okay.
Okay, sure.
Let's see. We talked about that. Dear Santa and Phineas. Ooh, this is
Okay.
a good. What's something you've never told anyone?
Ooh, this is like truth or dare.
I'm going to go first because I had a
Okay.
moment. This note is that I get nervous too. I don't tell the client that I'm working with that I haven't been in front of a camera or when we did the commercial, he said I smiled and I did my thing. I never tell people that I'm nervous.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes I want things to be so perfect. I strive for that perfection, and that I want it, like we talk about today. This episode is about creating the magic in the moment. It's very disappointing to me if I can't make that
Mhm.
moment. So I think you think 5 and 6 steps ahead. We do this, we do that. So, but I don't share that I'm nervous. How about you? Is there anything that you haven't told me? One.
Well, I'm very much the same as that. I try not to say, "Oh, I'm really nervous." But the thing that I don't tell people, especially when asked when I'm working with Santa, is, "What's your favorite cookie?" I don't like sweets. I am a salty and savory kind of guy. So I will say, kind of politely, like, I like a snickerdoodle because it's got lots of cinnamon in it, or I like a peanut butter cookie, but I'm not a big fan of super sweet stuff. So a lot of the cookies that everybody has at Christmas, I don't care. That just means more for Santa and more for Mrs. Claus. So
True, true.
mhm,
Well, this has been a wonderful, wonderful episode. I realize that I haven't turned on the comments for YouTube, so I usually put our videos for children, which they
mhm,
still are, because they typically disable the comments. So
yeah.
I'll put so you can leave comments. We'd love to know what you think. If you want to send us a message, Santa and Phineas at gmail.com. That's the best
Or
way.
you or you can message us on Facebook at Fireside Chat with Santa and Phineas,
Uh huh.
or on our Instagram at Santa.Phineas. So,
Yeah.
or pardon me,
We
Fireside.chat. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
it makes me happy. We're slowly building. We're obviously there's been people that have been listening and watching, so we're immensely, immensely honored. Thank you for taking the
Yep.
time today. As always, these come out on Monday. And before you go, Phineas, you had one
Mhm.
thing you were going to mention. What's going on
Well,
next?
July 20th, Monday, July 20th, I will be in Niagara Falls, Canada at the Santa Congress in Niagara Falls, Canada. Go to santacongress.ca for more information.
Awesome. And I
Yep.
know we've mentioned before we're going to be attending the
Charles
Howard
W.
School.
Howard School
Yep,
in Midland, Michigan in October.
yep. Think the dates, it's the first week of October. I think they said the dates
October
are,
1st. Yep, October 1st through 3rd. So we will be in Midland, Michigan at that time.
yeah, we'll be in Midland, Michigan. So we're kind of figuring out some cool stuff so you can meet and talk to a lot of Santas. So we're super
Mhm.
excited. So
Yep.
well, we'll see you all next week. Phineas, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. And thank you again for your time and generosity. I love this
Thank
conversation.
Thank you for hosting, Santa. Always good to chat with you. Always good to share with our listeners and our viewers. And it's an honor and privilege. So
Don't
don't
stop
stop
believing.
believing.
Don't stop believing, because you know what?
Mhm.
You're going to make somebody smile, and put that little bit of that Christmas magic, as I talk about, in your pocket. Save it for later,
Mhm.
because someone might need a little smile.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you next week. Okay.
Have
Bye.
a good week, everybody. Bye.